I don't expect below 30K levels ever again, but I mean, testing 30K could happen, of course. We have to kind of be comfortable with this idea ever since we broke this support there and this support there with the volume that we're seeing right now. So I don't want to sound bearish. I hate
Too late, Carl. Too late. Hey guys, I'm back with Carl, who's also back on the channel on Monday. Moon Mondays is what we should start calling it. Make sure, guys, by the way, before we get too far into this video, make sure to go down to the description and subscribe to Carl's channel, The Moon. Carl, last week, I believe that we talked about, Bitcoin could possibly break down, and, it seemed like a mythical scenario, and it played out exactly as you predicted. So what are we looking at this point for Bitcoin?
Yeah, let's dive straight into the chart and take a look. All right, so yeah, we are here on the daily time frame, and last week we were talking about how we were forming this bearish divergence. Actually, that's something we talked about 2 weeks ago, and I was saying that we're potentially going in for correction here, and that the big support to watch will be down here at 53K. And obviously, last week we talked about how we were forming this potential bear flag, and this bearish scenario where we might break the support. And if we do break the support, then obviously that is the beginning of the bearish scenario. And ever since last week, the bearish scenario has been confirmed, and essentially we are potentially in the beginning of a bear market. It doesn't mean that it has to be a multi-year bear market. It can be something like we saw back here, where we have a bear market that arguably was something like maybe 70 days long or so. So if we were to see like a 70-day long bear market, then that could be something like up until February next year. That's definitely a possibility. So I think we have to kind of become comfortable with the idea that we're probably not going to shoot up to 100K before the end of the year. Actually, at this stage, it's extremely unlikely, I would say, because when we break key support on big volume like this, it just always means at least sideways consolidation before we can gain back the momentum to go back up. But it can also mean that we're going in for a bigger bear market that could look something like this. I don't expect below 30K levels ever again, but I mean, testing 30K could happen, of course. We have to kind of be comfortable with this idea ever since we broke this support there and this support there with the volume that we're seeing right now. So I don't want to sound bearish. I hate
too late, Carl. Too late.
Yeah, I guess I already sounded a little bit bearish so far. But okay, so on the bullish note, let's talk about the bullish thing. First of all, Bitcoin has already tested the Fibonacci golden pocket. That's good. That means that we already kind of tested a key level. If we didn't do that already, I would have sat here said, okay, let's watch the golden pocket. Maybe that's where we're going to reverse. So that already happened. So I'm not gonna go into any much deeper bearish targets than that at this stage. And the other bullish thing, I think maybe the most significant thing, is this chart, the CME futures chart, where we have a huge gap. Gaps love to fill, and this gap is above us. That's bullish. That means that the price should have this kind of magnetic, magical tendency to go up and fill the gap. So those are the two bullish things I'm seeing in a sea of bearish signs.
So what would be a scenario in which you would say, okay, maybe we do get a V recovery? Like, what would Bitcoin have to get up to numbers wise? What price point would it have to get to for you to be like, okay, well, maybe that was a blip on the radar. Maybe it can flip back bullish very quickly.
Okay, so the first level that is important to break is this level, because we had some previous support there, some previous resistance there. Basically, we're actually already above it, but I wouldn't really say that this is like a critical level. It's just very good that we are right now above it. But to be perfectly honest with you, I think the most important level to watch is going to be this level that we broke. That's the level that I was talking about as the bearish level, and it's gonna be our bullish level now. That's what we have to break above. So we're talking about, to be very specific, 52.7 thousand. But let's round it up to $53,000. We need to get above that.
Yeah. Is there any world that exists where we get back above that and then get, start bouncing right back off the red trend line there? Do you see this on charts sometimes where you'll have a gigantic crash and it'll come back and then the trend line will continue to act as support?
Yeah, that can happen, of course. I mean, you mean when we break support and come back up and it continues to hold support?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, obviously the support will be much weaker this time at that
right.
point.
Correct. Yeah. I think that kind of the wild card that I'm looking at here is, it's not just Bitcoin that crashed. It's the traditional markets have been crashing as well, all based off of this news around this, new variant that's came out. That's what we saw at the end of last week. Is going to be really interesting. I know this video is going to post today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but around 9 a.m., which is in about 45 minutes from now, or maybe it's 9:30. I'm not a traditional guy. That's when the stock market's open. It's going to be very curious to see what happens to the stock market, because with something I've been talking about a lot on my channel the last few days is that the news is slowly trickling out that this new variant is actually weaker than all the other variants. So this big like hoopla, everybody's scared about the, are we going right back into the pandemic? Are we going to face new shutdowns and stuff like that? That's what's had the stock market worried. But they're already coming out and saying that this is much weaker, and there's actually like deaths are going down during this, rise in cases. So, I think our one hope we have right here is not on the chart. It's fundamental. It's looking at, could we get some news that could kind of reverse the panic that set things in from the other day?
Yeah, honestly, I don't pay too much attention to those bigger, those kind of topics, to be honest. I try to stay focused on the charts. But I guess that it's for many reasons why I don't pay attention to those kind of things, because just many different reasons.
Yeah, no, I feel that. But I do think that the fundamental news is can be very important. I mean, if we go back to what was going on in the last crash, I mean, we had all this stuff with Elon Musk. We had all the environmental stuff, the China ban. The news does factor in, and it does play a part. And I think when you're looking at a chart that breaks, like the one that broke the other day, it's going to take a news event to push it back up and get it on the trend line, I believe. I don't think naturally the money's just going to come flowing back in.
In the short term, maybe you're right. In the short term, long term, obviously, we all know it's going to go up. But yeah, in the short term, we might need a bullish fundamental spark to kind of to get us back up. But I mean, yeah, it's always this endless debate, fundamental versus technical analysis. I think both are significant. Fundamental are usually more for the long term. Technical are more for the short term. That's what I usually say, and I think that's pretty accurate. But obviously, when you have big bearish news coming out, that can lead to a short-term break of support of sorts, kind of like what we saw here. So,
yeah. Well, I think we all understand that the mainstream news is awful, and nobody cares what's going on in the mainstream news. So, Carl, tell us about when you were on Fox News this week.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
I set that one up good. You got to admit that one. So you were on Fox Business this week. I was on a few weeks ago. Tell us about how that came about and what you were talking about.
Yeah, so Fox Business, they reached out. They wanted to learn more about me and Kasta, because obviously it seems like Kasta has been just going completely viral, not only in crypto, but I'm not sure if it's a secret, but but Visa, they reached out to us. They want to know more about us. Actually, I think that was a secret, but I'm just going to break the news right here.
Boom.
For the BitSquad community. Well, there's nothing signed, nothing sealed. They just reached out to know more about us. And yeah, Fox News, they want to learn more about Kasta. So it seems like we're doing something right. And we still didn't spend even $1 in marketing, but we broke 170,000 people in the email list today.
Wow.
And we're this close to breaking 100,000 followers on Twitter. I think it's only like 2,000 followers left, which is so
What's
cool.
the username? We'll get our audience to go over there and help you out. What's the username for the Kasta app?
at Kasta _ app.
Okay.
Kasta with a K. Maybe it's easier.
Kasta.
Yeah, _. Maybe if we put the link, it will be easier because there are many scams out there. So if we put the link, people
okay,
will
we'll do that.
Because honestly, there's so many scammers out there, Telegram groups, fake websites, fake everything. So we try to push everyone to the official links only. And very, very important, the token is not launched. So if someone tells you that you can buy Kasta token, that's a scam. We've seen many of these. It's so horrible. I mean, crypto is full of these people.
It is. Well, funny story. I was at the conference last week, and I was talking to the CEO of a company, and he told me that his own sister got scammed by an impersonator of him.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, unreal. I mean, I've had friends reach out to me as well, being very close to send money to these scammers, and I don't know what to do. I've been trying to do something about it, but every time you shut one scammer down, another one pops up. So it's like an endless game of this. It doesn't really work, right? It's horrible.
It's unreal. Like, it really is. I was telling my wife that the other day. They're definitely kind of like groundhogs. It's like you put one down and then they come right back up, except for, there's 10 more every time. It's a battle we all fight, but it is a part of being in this world. And, people have got to learn expensive lessons sometimes when they do get hacked or phished or send money to a scammer or something like that. So I think it's part of the process. I think we've all been there. We've all either almost been victim to a scam or been victim to a scam. I know I got phished a long time ago.
Yeah.
But Carl,
and speaking of that, so
go ahead.
The only official website is Kasta.io. There are probably 20 scam websites out there, but the only official Kasta.io. We had many problems with that.
You guys heard it here. You guys check out Kasta.io. That is the official website. You guys make sure to go give Kasta _ app a follow on Twitter. We'll put the link down below. Carl, thank you so much for talking about Bitcoin with us. The hopium is short, but sometimes stranger things have happened. So we'll have to see and monitor. I want to know from the audience, where do you guys think Bitcoin is heading to? That's all I got. Be blessed. Way out.